Hey everybody, it's Hawk here. Today, we're talking about Minotaurs. Or Minotaurs. Say it however you want. Alright, so, what is a Minotaur? A Minotaur is a creature originally from Greek mythology. It's Zeus's fault. Like, 95% of all problems in Greek mythology. The other 5% be Poseidon's, usually. Yeah, that sounds about right. Alright, anyway, so what it is it's a giant bull-man hybrid. It's not complicated. It's not convoluted. I mean, the original version's a little convoluted, but it's Greek mythology. Everything's a little convoluted. Anyway, so giant bull-man. Huge. Usually, like, almost always portrayed as being much bigger than a normal person. Like, I would say head and shoulders above me. So, 8 feet-ish. Muscle-bound, generally portrayed as pissed off at the universe, and they eat people. Now, of course, we're not talking about, like, the cool Minotaurs, the, like, nice, civilized, functional ones, like the ones from Narnia, who were actually bad guys in the original one, but, you know, they're individuals, they can do what they want, which is quite nice. But we're not talking about them because they're not why being an adventurer sucks. The horrifying ones are. Like the ones with the Beastmen! You know, Doom Bulls! Which is a super Minotaur, because, you know, a normal muscle-bound wrecking ball isn't bad enough. So, do Minotaurs have anything particularly fancy, or special, or crazy they do? 99% of settings, no. In Warhammer, they're one of the Beastmen, which means they're created by the Chaos Gods. So in that one setting, they have boons from the Chaos Gods. But then again, that's like having the blessing of an evil god, so yeah, take it for what it's worth. Basically speaking, they don't have any magical powers. They can be mages. There's nothing stopping them. They are intelligent. I've never actually seen a Minotaur not portrayed as intelligent. I mean intelligent in the... It's sapient, not intelligent as it's not necessarily smart. I mean, some of them are portrayed as being quite dumb, but it doesn't mean they can't use magic. Basically, Minotaurs solve all problems, almost all of them, by hitting it really, really hard with a big object. You know, generally a hammer, or an axe, or a sword if they happen to have one of those, or sometimes just their fist, because that solves a lot of problems. Now, I'm going to postulate one or point out one weird one. Elder Scrolls, they're a little different. They're clannish and descended from the first emperor of Cyrodiil, who's a man-bull. I think he had wings, actually. I know his dad did. His dad was an actual bull with wings and was intelligent. Because he's awesome like that. Because Elder Scrolls lore is freaking weird. But, again, they're fine. We're talking about the murderous ones that eat people. So, like I said, they're stupidly straightforward. They're going to stab you in the face, or grab you by the head and eat you, and that's about it. They're pretty one-dimensional as far as, you know, what they do is concerned. Now they can go about doing this in all sorts of fascinating ways, depending on how organized they are, how intelligent they are. It's a matter of how advanced their tactics can get. At the most primitive, they're just going to put their head down and quite literally bull rush you. They can get more complicated than this by having ranged weapons, they can actually get into proper units, and etc, etc. Now, most adventurers are probably not going to run into units of Minotaurs, they'll probably be running into individuals or small groups. And again, this is entirely dependent upon how advanced they are. You can generally judge this by how much armor they have on them. The more armor, the more advanced you could generally say they are, or they're just very good at looting things, which would mean they're pretty good at combat. So, how does one combat a giant wrecking ball made out of pure muscle and hatred? With a pointed stick. Okay, I don't want to fight a Minotaur, if I have to fight it melee at all. Pointed stick. Preferably one even longer than this one. I mean, this one's fairly long. This is a pretty long... I have a fairly sizable spear here. Okay, this is a non-insignificant long spear. I want a pike. Okay, I want an honest-to-God pike. I want another one of these, almost. Okay? I want an 18-foot pointed stick. So it's way over there, and I can just stab it and keep backing up. Now, by odds, I'll probably just break my stick, but hey, that's why I bring multiple. Or get a really long lance. This wouldn't be so bad as a lance, maybe. And then ride and stab them and just run off. Like, do not actually properly engage them. Or, smartest one possible, get a ranged weapon and just shoot it to death, okay? Do not be near these things. Shoot them with nice big broad heads that leave nice big gaping wounds in them, and then let them bleed out and die. Or just let your mage be living artillery and take them out that way. No. Don't be near them. Do not be near them at all. Don't use this. I mean, this is great, but frankly, his backhand will probably send you hurtling across the battlefield, and then you die. Because they're big, they're muscly, they're angry. I have a feeling that their muscle mass to size ratio is ridiculous. Probably something on par with humans. Humans have fairly high end. And we're on the weak end of primates, by the way. Like, chimps are crazy. Now imagine that, except scaled up to being 10 feet tall. That's kind of what you're dealing with here. So, don't get close to them, shoot the hell out of them, and if they start seeming to be smart, react accordingly. As in, be smarter than them, or just retreat and bring more people. Preferably with long pointy sticks and lots of arrows. Maybe even a ballista. A ballista would be great, because it's a giant spear you're shooting into something. That will probably kill them. I mean, they do have a thicker than average hide, but even then, I mean, a ballista's kind of a great solution to a lot of big, scary things. Beyond that, there ain't much going for them. In D&D, they always know what direction they're going, so they can't get lost. They're very stable. They are exceedingly vicious. I mean, that's not abnormal, but that's them in D&D. They're not complicated, unlike anyone else. You go to Dragonlance, they're a civilized species, but again, that's why I'm not talking about those. And then you go into Warhammer Fantasy, and they are kind of dumb, but they make up for the not being smart part by being significantly more horrific in combat. Actually diving in and rolling into things before they start hacking away with their pair of massive axes. Because they're all about killing things and then eating them. And then they turn into Doom Bolts, and don't screw with those. Basically, if you see a Minotaur and it looks weird, like, and this goes for any setting, you see a Minotaur and it looks weird, assume it's the scariest thing in the room. Because, worst case scenario, you're wrong, and it's a horrible mutant, and it dies easily. And best case scenario, you're right, and are now at least operating under proper threat assessment. So that's about it for Minotaurs. There's not much here, because it's a giant angry bullman that wants to eat you. And so your solution is to stab the bejesus out of it, or shoot it, so it doesn't turn into a problem. So, all that being said, remember to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below, and do not forget your pikes, everybody. Peace out.